Hello, I'm Sheila, and Hannah is my trusty companion. We are at our studio, Kernersville Yoga and Massage, located in Kernersville, North Carolina. If you like what you see here today, please give me a little like button, a thumbs up, and perhaps subscribe to the channel. That would be great. Today, the practice will focus on opening the front body, especially this area of the spine, the thoracic spine, really opening up the heart center. So we'll do a little bit of some Vinyasa flow sequence to warm up the body and work on getting the front body open, and then work towards a nice, lovely back bend. For the practice, it is helpful to have a yoga belt, maybe 1 or 2 blankets, and a couple blocks. Before we begin the practice, I went over to the chakra tree and picked a mantra or an affirmation off of the tree. I thought it was fitting for a back bending practice. I live in limitless love, light, and joy. I live in limitless love, light, and joy. Thank you to whichever student wrote that and put it on the tree. I like that. So let's center. Just sit comfortably, either in cross-legged position, maybe on a couple of blankets, or join me here in Virasana, hero pose. Allow the lower body to settle. Give time and space for the lower body to just relax, become heavy. Rooting down, if you will. And as we root down in the lower body, we use that rooting down to rise up through the spine, the heart, the crown of the head. Just feel your breath moving. Perhaps take your awareness to the heart center. You could even place a couple fingertips. I just kind of gently curl my fingertips right there at the sternum. Little point of contact. Maybe visualize light in the heart center. I live in limitless light, love, and joy. That light radiates from the heart center throughout the cells of the body. And the supply is limitless. And then relax the hand back down to your lap. Go ahead and bow the head and open your eyes. and lift your head. Let's bring the arms up. Interlace the fingers and press your palms up. Root the buttock bones down. Breathe into the sides of the lungs and the rib cage. Maintain the lift in your spine. Lower your arms as you twist to the right. Bring the arms back up. Inhale and twist to your left. Face the front, and let's stretch the legs out. Go ahead and squeeze your quadriceps a few times. Let's bring the soles of the feet together for bound angle pose, Baddha Konasana. You'll notice I have my hands behind me. That allows me to root down, maybe in the hands and the buttock bones, and feel the chest just lift. Feel that upper part of the spine lift up and out of the lower back. Good. All right. So we're going to begin with a little assessment. And I do this in a lot of my classes. It's nice to do an assessment in the beginning and then again at the end. Sometimes even in the middle. So sometimes my students get not one, not two, but 3 Shavasanas. So this is a Shavasana, not where we totally tune out and relax though. So there is a little difference. So just lie down as you would for Shavasana. If you need support under the knees, please place a blanket roll under there or a bolster if you have one at home. And if you don't have anything like that, if this bothers your lower back, bend the knees and let them rest on each other in the center. And now you're welcome to close your eyes. And just observe, working from the head and then downward. Observe the points of contact that your body has with the floor. So feel the back of the head on the floor. And then notice where the body begins to leave the floor. So maybe at the curve of the neck, there's some space there. And feel where the upper back comes back into contact with the floor. Just keep working your way down the back side of the body. Noticing the little waves where the body touches the floor and leaves the floor. In the last couple moments here, bring awareness to the shoulders and their relationship to the floor. We're not trying to judge or change or fix anything. Simply taking inventory. Okay, so let's go ahead, bend the knees, roll to one side, press the hands into the floor so that you can sit up. And I'd like to start with a blanket roll. So if you don't have yoga blankets, beach towels are often a good substitute because they're pretty firm. So I'm opening this blanket up and I'm gonna roll it from the fringe edge towards the folded edge. I actually have a short video. It was the first one I ever posted. It was a couple years ago, I think, and it was a chest opener. We do these in our classes a lot here at the studio. All right, so a blanket roll, and then it's helpful to have some head support available in case you need it. So I like to just place it there. It's easy to remove. It's easier to remove the head support than it is to go looking for it once you get in the pose. The blanket roll is gonna go under the bottom half of the shoulder blades. So down here, between that bottom half and that bottom tip of the shoulder blades, this upper part of the shoulder blade is not on the blanket roll. The easiest way I have found to get on the blanket roll is to just lie on my side. That way I can look. Okay, the top of my shoulder is off of the blanket roll. The bottom half is on the blanket roll. Then you can just roll onto your back and lie back. So when I come back, that feels really nice actually. This feels pretty good and relaxed for my neck. However, if you find that the chin is way up and way elevated above the forehead, and if you feel compressed in the neck area, just have that head support, place it under the back of the head. It's important though that we don't over support the head. Because that creates compression on the front of the neck. I think somewhere, it might actually feel nice to have there, just a little bit. Okay, so we'll stay here a couple minutes. And the same suggestion applies here. If this bothers your lower back, with the legs straight, just bend the knees. And rest with your feet on the floor. There's often a question of, what do I do with my arms? Well, you can just have them resting out to the sides like I do. Or you could even bring them overhead a little bit. You can even take them all the way overhead and have one hand on the opposite elbow and the other hand on the other elbow. So opposite hands to opposite elbows. Just breathe. This is really nice to do several times a week, especially if you have to sit or stand for long periods of time. It's one of the first things I do after a long trip. All that sitting in an enclosed space. Feel where that blanket roll is in contact with the shoulder blades. We're helping to gently open up some of these muscles across the front of the chest and loosen some of the muscles along the back side. One more breath. Bend the knees, roll over to one side. Take the blankets and get them out of the way. Return to that Shavasana position. You may even observe a little bit of a change in how your body is coming into contact with the floor just after the blanket roll practice. Okay, bend the knees, place the feet on the floor, roll to one side, and we'll get set up to do some Vinyasa flow to bring some warmth into the body. It'll be focused on preparations for doing a back bend. Blocks aren't necessary, but they are handy. And it's nice to have the belt nearby because we'll be doing some shoulder openers. Standing in Tadasana. Feel your feet beneath you. And let's take a moment to identify the as-ises. ASIS. That's short for anterior superior iliac spine. Sometimes people just call them their hip bones. They're these little bony knobs right here on the front of the pelvis. Focus on lifting those up towards the low ribs and moving the sacrum down and forward. Moving the sacrum down and forward and lifting these little as-ises up helps lengthen that space in your lower back. And imagine that blanket roll was underneath the shoulder blades and feel that little lift there for the heart. So if the blanket roll were there on the bottom tips of the shoulder blades, it would just be adding a little support, a little scooping up, lift for the heart. That lift helps pull the spine long and kind of gets us out of that really crunchy lower back bend. Okay, off we go. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, fold into Uttanasana, forward fold. Extend the spine into half forward fold. And bow, forward fold. Come all the way up, inhale. Exhale, hands to the heart. One more like that. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, bow, forward fold. All the way up, Urdhva Hastasana, inhale. Exhale, hands to the heart. Take your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Come into half forward fold. Bend your knees, step the left foot back. Scoot the right foot forward as much as necessary so that we have the right knee stacked over the right ankle. We're going to lower the back knee down. If you need some cushion for the back knee, you can place a blanket under there. And for a quick fix, I just fold the mat over. Come to the front of the body, so hands on the front thigh. Take the left fingertips and get a hold of that as is. Just sort of lift up, just giving some feedback to lift that part of the pelvis up and move the sacrum down. Engage the low belly muscles. And imagine you have that blanket roll behind the shoulder blades and it's lifting the heart on the front body. Take the arms behind you. Either interlace the fingers and reach the knuckles back, or If your shoulders are a little bit on the tighter side, you can get a belt and hold on to the belt and reach back as you lift the arms up. One more inhale. Exhale. Take your hands to the floor. Step your feet back. Press the hips back. Downward dog. Take a few breaths here in down dog, that first down dog of the practice. Just kind of move around. You can play around with alternately bending the knees. And for today's practice, I'd like to give two options for what to do after downward facing dog. And that would either be to come to plank and lower down, knees, chest, chin, and lift into cobra. Or come into upward dog and downward facing dog 3 times. So choose what you'd like to do. You can even mix it up. Inhale. Exhale, step the feet forward, Uttanasana. And then come all the way up. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the heart. Take the arms up. Inhale. Uttanasana. Exhale. Ardha Uttanasana. Inhale. Bend the knees. Right foot back. Lunge. Again, we're going to lower that back knee down. One thing to be mindful of when you lower the back knee is that you don't close the gap here on the hip flexor area. So sometimes when people lower the back knee, they come in like that. And that creates more flexion in the hip. So if I focus on keeping the knee as far away from the front heel as I can, that creates a much more open stretch. Coming up, hands on the left thigh, right fingertips on the right as is, encouraging that lift. Engage the low belly muscles to maintain that lift. Sacrum moves down and forward. Lift the heart, and then arms behind you, reach the hands back towards the feet, and then lift the hands and arms away from the floor. Release. Downward facing dog. Your choice of a vinyasa. Remember, either plank, lower all the way down, cobra, back to down dog 1 time, or up dog, down dog 3 times. Off you go. And then we'll walk the feet forward. Uttanasana, forward fold. Urdhva Hastasana, coming all the way up with the arms overhead. Inhale. Hands to the heart. Exhale. Sweep your arms up. Inhale. Forward fold. Exhale. Half forward fold. Inhale. Bend the knees. Step the left foot back. This time, keep the left knee off the floor. Right knee is still stacked over the right ankle. Hands come to the right thigh and lift your torso up. Bend the back knee just a little bit. Left fingertips on that left as is, and lift that up. Low belly muscles hug in to support the lift. Sacrum moves down and forward. Then you can re-straighten the back knee as best you can. And now the shoulder stretch. Arms behind, either holding the belt or interlacing the fingers. Reach those fingers back and lift the hands and arms away from the floor. Only take the gaze up to a place where your neck still feels free and open. Hands to the floor. Right foot goes back, down dog, and then your choice of a vinyasa. Forward fold. And come all the way up. Inhale. Hands to the heart. Exhale. Left side. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Half forward fold. Inhale. Bend the knees. Right foot goes back. Hands to the front thigh. Lift the torso. Bend the back knee. Right fingertips to the as is. Give a little lift. Give a little lift. Give a little lift of your as is. Okay, sorry. It just comes out from time to time. Engage the lower belly muscles. Sacrum moves down and forward. And then straighten the back knee. Now we'll get that shoulder stretch, either holding the belt or interlacing the fingers. If you want to get really, symmetrical, you could switch the interlace of the fingers every other time. Arms come up and circle the hands down. Step your left foot back. Downward facing dog. If you're doing the up dog, down dog variation for the vinyasa and you start to notice the body getting tired, maybe just do one up dog, down dog instead of 3. Make it your practice. It can be different each time you practice. Feet step forward, Uttanasana. Forward fold. And come all the way up. Sweep the arms up. And hands to the heart. All right, moving forward, we'll just do that vinyasa break after we've done the right and the left side, instead of doing it in between sides. Sweep your arms up, inhale. We're going to be adding a twisting lunge. Exhale, come into forward fold. Inhale, extend the spine, half forward fold. Exhale, bend the knees, left foot steps back. Your choice, left knee up or down. Come up to the top of the right thigh, sweep your arms up, and twist to the right. If you're not able to get the left arm to the outside of the right leg, put the left hand on the inside of the foot. Twists are a really good way to kind of help loosen those muscles along the spine. All right. Face the floor. Push off the back foot and step forward to forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, bend the knees, right foot back. If you had the back knee down on the other side, then go ahead and do the same thing on this side. Sweep your arms up, inhale. Twist to the left, exhale. One more big breath. Bring the hands to the mat, and now downward facing dog and your choice of vinyasa. Walk the feet to the front of the mat, forward fold. Bring the arms all the way up. And hands to the heart. One more standing pose for preparing for the upcoming back bend. Forward fold. Inhale, extend the spine, half forward fold. And then bend the knees, step your left foot back. I'm gonna do a little switcheroo on my mat so that I can actually face you for this pose. Pivot the left heel around so that it makes contact with the floor. Align the right heel with the left arch. Start to straighten that right knee and place the right hand either on the shin or on the block. Lift the left arm, triangle pose. Root down through your feet. Firm the quadriceps to the thigh bones. Roll the left hip, left ribs, and left shoulder back a little bit more. Look in a direction that's comfortable for the neck. Bend the front knee, lift the back heel, step forward to forward fold. Do my quick little switcheroo. Come into half forward fold. Bend the knees, right foot steps back, right heel pivots around. Align the left heel with the right arch and straighten the left knee. Here we go. Triangle pose on the left side. Pressing down firmly into the feet. Hugging the thigh bones with the quadriceps. Right hip, right ribs, right shoulder roll back a little bit more. All right, bend the front knee. Both hands to the mat, left foot steps back, down dog. One more time. Make your way through the vinyasa of your choice. Or if your arms are getting tired, take a break in child's pose. And now let's all just come to the knees. Reach the hips back towards the heels and child's pose, or you can have the knees slightly separated for downward facing hero. Okay, slide the hands under the shoulders, lift up. We're gonna do a little quad stretch so that we can address this part of the body now to help prepare opening for the back bend. We did some shoulder opening earlier, helped kind of get this area open in the hip flexor up here at the top with some of those lunges, and now we're gonna take it a little further down and get those quads. For this, I like having a belt handy, just making a small loop. best you can with what you have. Put it around the right foot. And then lie on your belly. You want the thigh bones to run in the same direction, so parallel to one another. And I'm propped up on my left forearm. This creates a little bit more of a stretch. So if you come into this pose and it's too much, just lower down. All right, we're gonna start to bring that right foot forward, or right heel towards the right glute. That might make more sense. And without twisting in the spine, perhaps reach back if it feels like your right heel is pretty close to your glutes. And if it is, you can hold on to the ankle, the right ankle, and just keep drawing that heel towards the glute area. Still lifting the as is up towards those low front ribs, moving the sacrum down towards the floor, creating the lift in your heart. All right. Woo, that's fun. Let's switch sides. Thigh bones running parallel to each other, propped up on the forearms. Give a little hoist of that left heel. What do you get when you combine pull and hoist? Hoist. Okay, that's a new one. Nice smooth breathing still going on in the body. It's important that you don't twist when you reach that hand back for the foot, because the spine is in a back bend, and we don't want to combine a twist with a back bend here. All right, let that go. Take the hands underneath the shoulders, press back to either down dog, puppy pose, or child's pose. Slide the hands under the shoulders, press your torso up. If you're in down dog, take the knees to the floor, and we'll all come to a seated position on the mat for bridge pose. For the first bridge pose, if you have a block handy, go ahead and place that between the thighs. That helps keep the knees from shooting out to the side when we do bridge pose. Bring the heels fairly close to your bottom. I like to say maybe about 6 inches or so. And we'll start the bridge fairly slowly. So if you need to watch this first one, that's okay. You can always rewind it and then do it again with me. So you'll lift, start by lifting the sacrum away from the floor, then the lower back. And keep going, working to that middle back, upper back. It's at this point that I like to bend the elbows at 90 degrees and press the triceps into the floor to get just a little more lift in that chest. Then I can place the forearms and hands back on the floor. Feel the as reach up towards those low front ribs, so they're lifting up. Sacrum is moving forward towards the front of the pelvis, and we have that imaginary blanket roll under the shoulder blades, assisting the lift of the heart towards the chin. Lower down. So you might want to roll over briefly just to see some arm variations for the second bridge pose. After going up slowly and mindfully, incrementally, You can either hold the outer edges of the mat with your hands and practice rolling one shoulder underneath you at a time. Or if you're able, you can interlace the fingers underneath your bottom and then roll one shoulder underneath you at a time and press those arms into the floor. If either of those variations cause any strain on the neck, please don't do them. All right, so here we go. With or without that block, start pressing the heels into the floor. Lift the sacrum away from the floor, the lower back, mid back, upper back. Maybe do that little bend in the elbows. Press the triceps into the floor to give you a little more lift. Hands either to the outside of the mat or fingers interlaced underneath you. Roll the shoulders underneath one at a time. Press those heels into the floor. Lift the as-is towards the front ribs. Sacrum moves forward towards the front side of the pelvis. Imaginary blanket roll lifts the heart towards the chin and arms press into the floor. All right, lovely. Let's lower down. Bridge pose is an excellent way to not only open up the front body, but to strengthen the back side of the body, including the hamstrings, some of the gluteal muscles, and the extensors all along your back. Let's release those hamstrings now. Keep your left knee bent, and with a belt, put that belt around the head of the heel on your right foot, and draw that right thigh bone towards you. For this one, it's okay for the right buttock to come up off the floor a little bit, and you can just work on dropping it down. 3 breaths here. And switch sides. In this position, you might be able to, let's switch sides to the right, you might be able to take the index and middle finger of the right hand and loop it around the big toe. 3 breaths. Switching over to the left, 3 breaths here. And lower that left foot. Let's go ahead and just check back in with that assessment pose that we did earlier. So stretch your body out in that Shavasana pose that we used in the beginning of class. Just feel. Notice if anything has changed with regards to where the back body comes into contact with the floor. If you're comfortable with this setup for Shavasana, stay here. If you'd like to place any props under your knees, go ahead and take a moment to do that. If you'd like to switch to legs up the wall, you could do that also. Just give yourself a minute to settle or reposition and then settle. I live in limitless love, light, and joy. Allow the light from the heart center to radiate throughout your body. That light is love. That light is joy. Perhaps in these next few moments, you can allow that light to radiate from your heart to fill the space around you with light. That light that is love and is joy. And then allow that light to travel beyond the space around you, out into the world, across the globe even, to someone who needs it. Someone you know or someone you don't know. Trust the universe to send that light to whomever needs it. There is a limitless supply. Stay here for as long as you like. I'm going to go ahead and begin to close the practice. So if you're ready, join me, taking a deep breath. Bend the knees, place the feet on the floor, wall, or props. Rock your knees from side to side. Roll completely onto one side, offering support for your head, maybe with your arm or a pillow or a blanket, whatever you have nearby. Press the hands into the floor. Bring your body up to a seated position. Thank you so much. I hope that this practice was helpful, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or evening. Namaste.